You are being really unreasonable right now, and it is objectively not cool, okay? Every lawyer watching this just went, oh, God, because they know what's coming. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to a friend of mine. This is the Reasonable Man. I'm Brian. I make videos about law and civics, and please watch this video and comment and repost and do all the stuff to get this out there so people will see it. Let's learn about the Reasonable Man standard because it's important and it's going to come up a lot in the future. So for those of you who've been following along, tort law is the body of law that revolves around lawsuits where someone or someone's property gets damaged and some money is owed for fixing that damage. And sometimes when you're going through the standards of whether or not somebody should be responsible for the damage, a decision has to be made as to whether or not the person acted reasonably or not. That seems to be the standard that the court has chosen over the years. Did the person act reasonably? And we're going to get into this more later when the word reasonably is used, but that is often the standard. Should this person be held responsible? Well, did they act reasonably? Well, what's reasonable? And here's the part that is just going to make your head spin. Real quick, I just want to run through the definitions of the words objective and subjective. Subjective usually means how I feel about something. It could really change from person to person. Objective is a more clear standard that looks the same no matter who's looking at it. Well, here's the thing. The Reasonable Man standard is supposed to be objective. It's supposed to look the same from anybody's perspective. And that is why we invented Mr. Reasonable. So here will be the question. Mr. Reasonable is walking down the street. Mr. Reasonable is average in every way. If Mr. Reasonable came across this situation that happened in this case, how would he have responded? Would he have done what the defendant did, or would he have done something more or something less? What was reasonable? And somehow that is supposed to be objective. Everybody's supposed to get the same answer from that question, which obviously they're not going to. But I think it's just the closest attempt the court could come up with to create an objective standard that wasn't going to change all the time. I do not expect you to understand this. I wrestled with this for a long time, but I wanted to at least introduce it because the Reasonable Man standard is everywhere, especially in tort law, and it's going to show up. It's one of those things that just pops its little head up all throughout the law. The Reasonable Man standard, reasonable, 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 and it's always supposed to be objective, which makes no sense because it's clearly subjective, but it's supposed to be an objective standard. So I'm just introducing it to you today, and we'll come back to it again soon. Thank you for watching.